This is Carol Roy, live at VMworld 2010, and with me today I have Simon Crosby, the CTO at Citrix. How are you, Simon?
Great, thanks, Carol.
Thanks so much for joining me. You are an old friend of ours, and it is wonderful to speak with you again, especially after hearing some of this great news that you have acquired VMlogix.
Yeah, we're very excited about it. VMlogix folks have been delivering this through OEM to Citrix, this terrific capability for virtual lab management and virtual stage management as part of the Premier Suite on top of Zen Server. Great friends of ours, super innovative team. They have an office in Bangalore right across from Citrix. And really, as we start to complete our vision in cloud, they form a key component of that. So it's been super to add them to the team. Really excited about it.
Now, what do you think that will do in changing the way you deliver to your customers? What will change? How will that be enhanced?
Well, Citrix, from a cloud perspective, we've announced this open cloud framework. And VMware is also talking about open cloud, so it's probably important to state what that really means. Our objective is to have a completely open source stack. And if you don't want any piece of the open source stack, you can substitute at any layer a proprietary component from any vendor of your choosing. So plenty of room for differentiation and indeed for different hypervisors and everything else. So open source hypervisor, Zen Cloud Platform is that for us. It's the future version of Zen Server. But if you want to use Hyper-V or even VMware or KVM, we're fine with that too. Then on top of that, a cloud orchestration layer. We're participating with Rackspace, which is a big Zen Server customer, and NASA to develop OpenStack. And that's really around having a great cloud, massively scalable cloud orchestration layer with standard interfaces. One of the key differences between us and VMware is that we're absolutely committed to portability, and VMware talks about interoperability. The big difference is, will my VM run over there in that cloud, and does it have to be VMware on both sides, right? And we certainly don't believe that it needs to be VMware on both sides, or Zen Server on both sides. It could be any hypervisor, so run anything anywhere. And then on top of that, a bunch of differentiated application solutions. And of course, Virtual Lab has been one of those for us. We've delivered that in the enterprise context. Now we can deliver to service providers. It's with our service provider partners. And we're starting to do that already with the VMlogix folks. They will simply continue to do that. But they will then be able to write their application, continue to develop it on top of that open cloud framework, but also on top of other cloud frameworks too. So there's no reason why it wouldn't work on top of Amazon Web Services, for example. And so we're very excited about the idea of just building this stack, which is highly differentiated in open source, in building community around it, and then letting people go off and innovate.
So I know, let's switch topics a little bit, talk on Zen Server, obviously hugely popular, growing in popularity and implementation levels daily, I would assume. I know that a new one is going to be coming out. When can we expect it, and what new things can we look forward to? Okay,
so Zen Server is in fact on track to do 18 to 20% of run rate server virtualization this year. That's somewhere around 250,000 servers. It's doing extremely well in several market segments. Big clouds, obviously, I mentioned Rackspace. The Rackspace Cloud is built on Zen Server. There, the feature set is superb, and the value proposition is incredible because it's free. For starters, a lot of people building very large clouds on Zen Server. Even this year, we've built several 10,000 server-sized clouds. Then in the enterprise, we continue to innovate with the enterprise and platinum SKUs for Zen Server, of which the VMlogix component is substantial. Then in small and medium business, basically small and medium business server vert is just Zen Server. It's going that way, and it's been terrifically exciting because all the management tools are in there. Great performance for any application, and very, very simple to use and very easy to adopt. So that's turned into a terrific tool for us. Zen Server is going down an interesting path of addressing key needs on the cloud and desktop virtualization path. It was interesting here at VMworld to see VMware finally introducing some of the enterprise features that we've had for a while. For example, their APIs to leverage capabilities and storage vendors arrays to do in-array snapshots and so on. These are things we've had for a long time. So I think we're feeling fairly comfortable on the enterprise feature set. But from a Zen desktop perspective, if you focus the virtual infrastructure platform on doing an awesome job for desktop virtualization, you find yourself doing some very interesting optimizations, which are intimately tied up with how you compose the user's desktop. So ultimately, we're in the business of having a single golden image, combining it dynamically with the user's apps and their personal profile and everything else that makes it their desktop. And if you're doing that, then you can change the whole dynamic of how the virtual infrastructure is composed. You don't haul every copy of Windows across the network to boot each one of them individually. You can use one golden image and boot them all very fast from one platform and so on. So Zen Desktop places specific demands on Zen Server. You'll see some of those in our next release, Carryl, which will be in the second half of this year. Oh gosh, we're already in the second half of this year. Just a subtle hint there. And also, many of those optimizations are useful for cloud, for very large clouds, where, again, you don't typically find enterprise infrastructure like SANs and so on. So the more traditional enterprise data center architecture capabilities, we're comfortable with those, but all of the big cloud and big virtual desktop innovation is happening in Zen Server now.
That sounds wonderful. Well, Simon, we definitely look forward to touching base with you again when the newest iteration of Zen Server comes out, and congratulations again on the acquisition of VMlogics. Always a pleasure.